Knitting on the Farm podcast, episode 21. My name is Angela and today is Tuesday the 6th of April 2021. This has been Easter weekend and it has been extremely quiet. We're still not allowed to visit in each other's houses, so it's been home alone, and the weather has been quite cool from Sunday. We even had snow this morning, so it has still been nice weather for staying indoors and snuggling up with some TV and some knitting. Yeah, how has everyone been from the last time we met? I hope you've had lots of time for doing some craft and time to relax and do some nice things, as well as all the busy mundane things that have to be done. Hopefully this week we're going to be allowed to meet outdoors in groups of 6 with the COVID relaxation. So gradually we might be getting back to being able to spend some family time together, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to. All the links of where you can find me and get in touch with me are all in the drop down bar just below this video, and you can mainly find my updates will be on Instagram. That's where I keep most active, but please do use the direct message or the emails through Ravelry or my direct email to keep in touch. So we'll start off then with the Ravelry news. I have a prize winner to announce today. I closed the first quarter of the Gifting Through the Year make along this morning. Well, I don't actually close it, but I drew the prize winner this morning for the quarter up to the end of March. I kept it open over the weekend just for a few extra entries, and the winner was number 70, who is Elaine from Canada, and her handle on Ravelry is Tree Source Limited. And Elaine had knit a pair of socks in Crochet sock yarn, a lovely stripy pair of socks called the Sidewalk Chalk Stripe Socks. So there's lots of socks across in that make along, and hats and cowls and mittens and hairbands and things. It's been really good. I've enjoyed watching or viewing all the photographs and seeing what people are up to, and lots of people are super organized with more than 1, 2 or 3 entries, so it's great, and I hope you're enjoying putting your entries in over there. So Elaine, if you could get in touch with me by either direct email or by emailing through the Ravelry group, that would be fantastic, and I will sort out your prize with you. For prizes outside the UK, I am going to be using virtual prizes. So it'll either be a choice of a knitting pattern up to the value of $10, or I have used in the past, and it has worked very well, is an Etsy voucher where you choose an item up to a value in a Etsy store that's within your own country, and then I can sort out the payment and it's posted off to you, and it works with postage costs, and it also works really well with reliability. So this time, Elaine, the prize is a pattern, so get in touch with me and I will sort out that for you. Thank you everyone for entering, and I will draw the next quarter at the end of June, and it will be from number 107 through to the number of entries that are there. So keep entering and you're always in with a chance of winning. So that is the Gifting Through the Year make along. Then on the 20th of March, our Spring Fun make along opened, and it's running to the 21st of June. And the idea behind it is to learn something new and we chatted the last time about all the different new things that you could be learning, from the construction of an item to a new stitch, new cast on, new type of needles, new type of yarn, maybe even an entirely different hobby that you haven't done before. So it's an opportunity just to learn something new. There's a chatter thread, so if you've any problems with anything, just put it in there and hopefully we'll all be able to help each other out. You might think that you're not doing anything new, but it's amazing when you sit down with a project what you're learning for the first time. So you will have something to enter in there, so do pop it in and we'll see how that goes. Then the only other announcement is, I think I had chatted about it in the last podcast, and that is our Zoom catch-up, which is going to be on the second Monday of each month at 8 p.m. GMT time. That's the time I have set, and we're going to see how that goes. So the first one is going to be on the 12th of April. It's just an opportunity for us to come together as crafters and get to know each other from different parts of the world, and chat about what we're knitting, or just general chit chat, and as we would say here in Northern Ireland, have a bit of crack, get to know each other. And the one that it runs on a Thursday evening that has actually filled up is really good, and we've got to know each other very well. So I'm hoping that the same thing will happen with the one on Monday evening. So put that in your calendar. That's the 12th of April at 8 p.m. GMT time. You need to send me a direct email or a direct message on Instagram to get the details for logging into Zoom, the room number, etc. I just want to keep it all safe and comfortable for everybody, so that's the best way to do it. Some people have already got in touch, so if you're thinking about it, give it a go, send me a message and I'll get you across the details so that you can log in next week. Not long to go now. Okay, I think that's everything by the way of news and introduction and things like that. We'll get started then with some things that I have finished. I think these I had started maybe the last day of podcast, but they are finished now, and they are my Mama Bear socks. I have two. These are knit in lovely yarn from Mama Bear Yarns that was gifted to me at Christmas from my friend Tracy, and it is so squishy and soft. It's really nice yarn, and new to me dyer. It's always nice to find new dyers. So this was a 50 and 20 gram mini, and that is the ball band, and that's the yarn details. It is a 85-15 fine superwash merino and nylon mix. The colorway was Autumn Days and Winter Nights, and 4-ply, 200 meters and 72 meters in the mini. I knit these two up. I used the construction of the Mabel sock pattern from So Sweet Violet, and then just did a simple knit through the back loop and purl 2 for a wee bit of interest up the side. I think one other pair of socks I have been trying to use the 50 gram and a contrasting mini to see how I would get on. So that's why I knit these two up, and I will show you what I had left. That is what I had left of the grey, and this is what I had left of the main skein. I didn't actually weigh what's there, but I'm sure there's about maybe 2 grams. They probably are just on the short side for what I like for comfort. And whoops, I had to, I think there's just about 10 rows maybe on the cuff, which is, as you'll know if you've watched the podcast, is short for me. But they're fine for coming into the spring and summertime. So even in these, I did the toe up, which was something new, and then the new sort of, I think it's a German short row heel. So that was something new that I learned for those. And check out Mama Bear yarns. Her yarn's lovely and definitely would be worth a wee ponder. So that is finished object then number 1, my Mama Bear socks. What else have we finished yet? This I definitely don't think I had started. I had said my March sock set had come in, and it was from Craft House Magic, and it is, I get my notebook, I couldn't remember if I hadn't it written down. It was called I've Had the Time of My Life, which was from the film Dirty Dancing. So I decided it was just so pretty, I wanted to put it in something other than socks. So I decided to knit the sock set shawl. It's by Cozy Up Knits. And I needed to use a third contrast colour. So I chose a grey that I had in my stash. So I will show you the shawl. I have some photographs and I'll pop those in too, because it's just complicated to show. So you start off with just your few stitches, mainly garter stitch, then your simple lace, right out through, and then a nice edging there. I hope you could hear me and you could see, because I couldn't see anything there. It was for a sock set, which is the 100 grams and 20 gram mini. The yarn base that I had was a BFL base, and it has slightly less meterage. It has 365 meters as opposed to maybe the usual 400 meters. So that left it slightly shorter, and the 20 gram mini. So what I used for this was the main colour. I used all the 100 grams, which was the 365 meters, which is this here, this colour here. Then the contrast that came with the sock set was show it there, is the pink, and I used 20 grams of it, and then I got Ellie to dye me up another 20 gram mini. So in fact I used 34 grams of it. And then the grey colour here, which is another one of Ellie's yarns, it was a baby alpaca silk and cashmere just that I had, and I used 24 grams. So in total I used 158 grams. So maybe my gauge, not sure, but I used slightly more than a sock set. I will show you that was the grey. And then that was the pink. And as I say, I don't have any of the main colour left at all. So it was a good way to use up everything. I knitted just as per pattern, same needle size, etc. Blocked it not terribly aggressively, but just enough to show off the lace. So as I say, I have photographs taken, and I'll put them in, and you'll see it better. So I'm really pleased with it. It's lovely and soft, and I did enjoy knitting it. It didn't take too long. I suppose maybe a week or so, along with knitting other things, so it didn't take too long at all. It'd be nice just for coming into the springtime. So that is the sock set shawl by Cozy Up Knits. So that is the 2 things that I have finished. I don't have nothing else finished, but I suppose that's quite a big project, and I've been working on a couple of other projects as well. So we'll move on and have a chat then about things that are on the needles. Not sure whether I showed you before I go. That's Ellie's little ball band, and that is the details of the March sock club. You could still order the April sock club over the weekend. I'm not sure whether it's still open today or not, but I have a note down below. You'll find it in the drop down bar of where you can order the sock clubs coming up through now, you know, the May, etc. The link will be in the drop down bar for that. So that's that. I have started another pair of socks, excuse me, and I started called the Flossy socks. I don't have the pattern printed off. It is a relatively new pattern from So Sweet Violet from Jules, and you can find it across in her Etsy shop, So Sweet Violet, and it's also available on Ravelry. And again, it's a new sort of construction to me, so that's something else new. And I have just the one sock started, and this is it. Again, it's toe up, and I think she calls this her beanie toe. And then the simple pattern up the sides. It may look like a cable, but it's not. It's just twisted stitches, so it's very easy done. And then she calls this her go day heel, I think. And I'm just past the heel, so if you can see, you basically cast on the stitches for the heel, and then you do some, needle wasn't in the way, you do some short rows then to come back to your said number of stitches. So it's quite a good fit. I've tried it on. I do like the heel as a fit. So that was something else new to learn. I maybe prefer doing the heel that was in my Mama Bear socks, but you have to be really careful with it because you're doing the double stitch, the double stitch, so you need to just keep your count right. This is probably slightly more mindless. I'm not sure how to really hold it, maybe you can see, and slightly more square heel. It doesn't maybe work terribly well with the stripes because, you know, you've ended up sort of knocking your stripe off, but I'm not too worried. This is the yarn. I bought this maybe 3 years ago from my friend as D-Stash, and it is from the Cozy Knitter. She's still down yarn, and it is her Luxe range, and that's the details. It is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon, and it is called Hage. toffee. It's lovely. I really do like it. It's been sitting in my stash, and I've really, it sort of came to my mind that I wanted to use it, so out it came and it was wound up. So that's as far as I've got just with my first sock, and I just do a row or two now and again. Probably if I'm sitting waiting on Andrew coming in for dinner and he's late, it's something you can just lift and you can do a row, and you don't have to concentrate too much. It's just a simple four row repeat, so it's an easy pattern to keep track of. So that is my flossy socks, and I don't think I had them started the last day that I was talking to you. Oops, sorry, moved the camera. Okay, the next then you will have seen, and it is my sleeve sweater. This has been on the go now for quite a wee while, hasn't it? There's more work in it than I actually thought. I thought I would have it finished in a few days, but it's slower going than what I anticipated. I'm doing the short sleeve version, I think. And I'm not sure. I haven't just decided whether I'm going to do the split hem or I'm going to just do the traditional ribbed bottom to it. I read it last night, but I haven't just decided. So I'll show you how far on I am with it. I put it onto a longer cable to let you see. The stitch marker is where I was the last time. So I have quite a bit more done. Let me see. See, I suppose about maybe 4 inches done. So from the, quite a way to go yet. That's all I've done from the armhole. It's quite nice detail on the, just going down the side there, if you can see. It's just a small detail, but it's something different, isn't it? It's got a nice boat neck, as we talked about, and I said it was the new to me construction at the sleeves. So the back of it then has less detail. It just has one of the patterns on the back, whereas the front has, I think it's maybe 8 or 9. It's really nice. It's actually getting heavy now. I am knitting this then in the Little the colorway was 9845, and it's 100% Icelandic wool. I'm getting used to knitting with it now, and yes, I do like it. If you can see in the background here, that's the shawl is knit in the same yarn. So it is a bit scratchy, but it's fine once it's washed. It's not something I would be wearing, you know, close to my skin, and obviously that pattern is for, you know, wearing something underneath it. So it is scratchy, but it is a lovely wool, and I think it lends itself quite well to that sort of top, because it gives it that nice rugged feel, which I think is good. So that's all the progress I have made on that. Not too much really, but then I cast on something else. It's not like me to have so many things on the needles at the one time, but excuse me again, we've chatted about this. I told you about the yarn coming in for it, and it was the Betweenity set by I Rock Knits, and I started with the cowl. If you can see there is the mittens, the hat, and the cowl. So I thought the cowl would be a good start. The yarn had come in and I had chatted to you about it. I chose the John Urban textiles for one, and then the West Yorkshire Spinners gems for the other. So this is as far as I have got. It has a 2x2 rib, and then you go into the Colorwork. This is the colours. They are Amber Glow. No, sorry, Amber just. Zycron, and then the black is the Cinder Glow, and there is like a pink, I think you can maybe see it there, an orangey pink tinge of it, and that's why then I chose the other two colours. If you want to see the bands, that is the John Urban, the Devona. It is 50% Exmoor BFL, then 30% BFL and 20% Wensleydale. Then the gems, the West Yorkshire Spinners gems, is 100% British wool. I'm doing the pattern just as per pattern, same needle sizes, nothing any different at all. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I didn't enjoy the rib because I've never really done purl-in Colorwork before. It always has just been knit, but I was getting onto it. Tension maybe isn't great. I'll show you the floats. Everybody likes to see the floats. I'm not sure how they are, but they're not too bad. Is that one? I thought that was one. It's not. It's just the ends. So yeah, that's really there's just a 29 row. I think I'm halfway in the center, and then just the same again on the bottom. So it is a nice knit, and it's always just using two colours at the one time, so it's not complicated, and I'm getting better at using my left and right hand at the one time. So a few rows just now and again. It's not something I sit down and do a lot at. I think that's why I cast on something extra, because I just can do a few rows on the sleeve, and then a few rows on this, and a few rows on the socks, just at any one time. So it's nice to have the wee bit of variety, and I'm knitting those using my Chagoos interchangeables for that, and I'm also using Chagoos for the sleeve as well. Okay, I think that's everything knitting that I'm going to talk about today. As I said then, at one stage I was doing some crochet. I crocheted a little blanket, and I was getting itchy feet then after that, so I decided that I would take a go at crocheting a larger blanket. So I decided to chain on the Moorland blanket from Attic 24, and it has the pattern, she calls it the neat wave pattern. Okay, so this is the Moorland blanket. It definitely isn't something you want to look too closely at for my tension, but it's a first go, and I'm pleased with it. I will open it out to see. It'll be a a good sized lap blanket, and I've lots of ends to weave in. I did the first few rows, and I'll go back and do the rest when I sit down for 5 minutes at some stage before I go much further. So far I've used the colours that is suggested for the pattern. I don't have them all, but I needed to put an order in, and I just ordered two or three of them to get me started, and this is the ones that I have. And just put them onto some clothes pegs so that you see. So those are the ones that I've used so far, and then you go up into sort of some of the purples and things as well as you go on into the heather colour. So it sort of starts off at the heath and then on up into the heathers, and I think there's maybe some blues sort of as you come up into the sky. If you check Attic 24, it'll show you her thought behind the colour choices and the process for the blanket. It's really nice. They're free patterns, and I am really enjoying it. I do a couple of rows every night when I'm in bed, because it keeps you nice and warm, as well as something to do. And I've more or less got onto the pattern now. I was watching Cherie from Ollie and Bella yesterday, and she was doing her podcast, and she's all about her blankets at the moment, and she said about putting a progress keeper on one side, so that she sewed all her ends in to the one side on the blanket. Not that it really matters, because obviously you can use the blanket whatever way, but I thought that was a really good idea. So when I got up this morning, first thing I did was put a progress keeper. I also put one on the last stitch on each, rather the first stitch on each row, so that I know where to pick it up at the end, to try and keep my edges level. And I think I'm doing okay. Everybody says that they'll when you put the border on, it sort of straightens it up, but it's not too bad. By no means perfect, but a good first effort, and I'm enjoying it, and that's the main thing. So that's the Moorland blanket, the Neat Weave pattern by Attic 24. Okay, then just sharing a little bit of podcasting love. There's a couple of podcasts I was going to mention that I really enjoy. One of them I'm sure you know very well, the other one maybe not so much. And the first one is The Wee So-and-so, and that is Kaz, who is in the very tips of Scotland. I have watched her podcasts, every single one of them. I went back to the very beginning and followed her right through, and I really enjoy her accent, and I just enjoy her knitting. She knits so many beautiful things, so many lovely sweaters and things, and she's also started her own business now. She has an Etsy shop, and her yarns are lovely, and there's always a great tale behind the colorway choices, and they're beautiful, and she has some nice progress keepers, etc. as well, and she's just a joy to watch. So you can catch up with her. It's the Wee So-and-so podcast. The other one then that's reasonably new to me, and I've just watched a couple of them. I think she only maybe has 2 or 3 out, but I have been sort of watching piece by piece, and that's Hannah's Happy Space. And she has just started podcasting. I think she's a friend of Ruth Loves to Knit. Don't hold me to that, but she has a lovely relaxed podcast, and she's a real joy to listen to, and she would love you to, I'm sure, pop across and catch up with what she's doing over on her YouTube channel. So that's just a couple that I will mention today. General chat then. What is there that I haven't already mentioned? Well, last week I got my number 1 COVID injection or vaccination last Wednesday, and I'm delighted that I'm able to get it. It's not something I would have any hesitation, and didn't have any hesitation in getting. I must admit it has knocked me for 6. It really took me off my feet for a few days, but I'm beginning to feel a lot better now, and the fever and things have settled. Aches and pains have all gone. I just have been left feeling extremely tired, but I'm picking up again, so that's good. And I hope everyone will soon be getting, if you haven't already got it, you'll soon be getting yours. I can't wait till everybody in our family gets it, because it'll just give a lot of confidence for being able to meet up again when the time's right. I've also have put a couple of photographs in of the parlour at the moment. Things is moving on really quickly. They have got the floor into the main part of the milking parlour now, where the cows will stand. The plumber is finished with all the plumbing work, and the electrician is supposed to be coming tomorrow to start all the electrical work. The parlour engineer is coming this week as well to start to put or to help with all sort of the final setup of all the different pipes and things in the parlour. I was down, and it is an absolute it's a minefield how you would ever start to put all that together. It's just a massive big jigsaw puzzle. So if those guys were finished, we're really close now to getting the cows across to it, which would be absolutely brilliant. I think Andrew's trying to put a deadline on it of the month of April just to get it finished. It's been going on so long now, and it's one of those things you just have to say, right, this has to be done, otherwise it lingers forever. So yeah, you'll see a couple of photographs of it. Easter then was quiet. There was nothing happening, nowhere to go, as in, we're still stay within your local area, and nowhere to visit because we're not allowed to visit indoors yet. So Easter was very quiet, which was nice. In a way, it gave you an opportunity to just reflect on what the true meaning of Easter is, rather than the running around and doing all the bits and pieces. But one wee thought I just wanted to share with you, and if you're not interested, thank you very much for watching. I understand and respect that my faith isn't for everyone, but thank you for watching. If you're leaving now, and hope to see you the next time. If you're staying on, thank you so much. And I just wanted to share one wee thing that came to my mind, and it comes from the book of Matthew, and it's Matthew 15 verse 10 and 11, and I'll tell you why I chose this in a moment. It says, "Hear and understand, it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth. This defiles a person." And just at the minute, I don't know whether everybody has found it, but I know through the channel here on YouTube, and also through Instagram, there's been a few messages have come through, and they're not pleasant, and can be quite critical. And I suppose when you put your when you put yourself out onto a channel, you're not for everybody, which is fair enough. I understand that. Not every podcaster is for me either, and if it's something that I don't enjoy, I just move on to another episode, or I move on to another podcaster and watch something else. But I don't, would never dream of leaving any comments that weren't pleasant, or I wouldn't dream of sending an email that wasn't pleasant. Yes, sometimes, I mean, in business you have to be firm, etc., but I never would in the crafting community like to think that I left anything that would offend anybody or would hurt anybody's feelings. And I know it just is buzzing around, and I know I've experienced it in the last few weeks. And while while you can say it runs off your shoulders, it does, like water off a duck, but still it is hurtful. And I was brushing my teeth this morning, and I was putting the toothpaste onto the brush, and I was thinking, the toothpaste comes out, but you can't put it back into the tube again. And I know that sounds silly, but then this was the verse that I sort of thought of, and I looked it up, and things are easier. You can say them, but you can't take them back. And it just would be really nice that we would remember not to say the things that are hurtful, just to keep those sort of thoughts to ourselves, move on to something else, especially just within the crafting community. It's a fantastic community, and I love being part of it, and I love everybody watching and enjoying and chipping in, and I love chipping in with other podcasts as well. But that was just something that come to my mind, and as I say, the tube of toothpaste was what triggered off my thought. And I think we can take from it for every day in everything that we do. It's nice just to be pleasant from we get up in the morning to we go to bed in the evening time. Not always possible. We can have many grumpy days, but it's easier to not say the thing because you can't take it back. And God's word has endless messages for us all. Anything that we need to know or learn, it's there. And that verse really just spoke to me today as I was thinking about it, and I thought I would share it with you. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed what I've shared with you, and keep safe and enjoy your time crafting, whatever that may be, until I see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Take care, everyone. Bye.